Hello everybody, you know what I love? Action figures. And you know what I love even more? Sonic the Hedgehog. And there have been many Sonic toy lines throughout the years, but none have given Sonic the amount of pure respect that Jakks Pacific has given him. The Jazzwares era of figures was great, but I feel like a lot of people are a little nostalgia blind, especially regarding the quality of the figures. Like, yeah, it's awesome that you can have an Excalibur Sonic figure, but what good is it if his arm is flailing around and unposable 5 days after buying him? And as time has gone on, I think Jakks has proven that they deserve the Sonic toy license. But they have made their fair share of fumbles as well. And today, I'm going to be ranking every single Jakks 4-inch Sonic figure from worst to best. This list is exclusively the main 4-inch line figures, but I will be including some spin-off figures like the Jakks Gold or IDW figures, but I will not be talking about the DC crossover, Sonic Prime, or Sonic Movie, or Collector Series figures, because I'll most likely save them for their own video if interest in this video is shown. So with that, let's start ranking. Starting out the list, we have probably the worst Sonic figure I've ever seen in my entire life, and that's the Laughing Classic Sonic figure. It might be an over-exaggeration, but like, why the fuck was this figure even made and so early in the line at that? I get the idea, but the execution is absolutely terrible. And when these things came out, I never saw them leave shelves. Because what kid is actually going to see this on the shelf and actually, like, want it? Like, put it into the shopping cart and want it. They're going to see any other Sonic figure, and they're going to walk away with that one. Piece of shit figure. Next up is just all three of the 30th anniversary figures. These are like the Three Stooges of holy ugliness. I get the idea, but the neon colors with the Rudolph red noses, does that really scream out 30th anniversary figures? We've gotten so many better figures that celebrate Sonic's history, and these guys just look like normal figures that got microwaved for 30 seconds. Bad figures. Above them are more repaints of characters, but these ones are a little bit better. These are the Tails and Knuckles from the Sonic Heroes 3-pack, because, like, sure, fuck it, shiny Tails and Knuckles. They're not terrible, and they're not offensive, but, like, nobody is gonna buy these figures on their own, and that's why they were shoved in a Sonic Heroes 3-pack. Above them is standard classic Super Sonic. I have absolutely no idea why, but Jakks Classic Super Sonic looks so just, like, derpy. I can't pinpoint it, but he just looks, like, off. He looks like an alley rat. Like, he doesn't look like Sonic the Hedgehog at all. I have no idea how to explain it. And right next to him is the Jakks Gold version of him. In all honesty, I kind of think he looks worse, but it's just the fact that it's a Jakks Gold figure that makes it kind of cooler. This version of the figure makes him look like he was left out in, like, the window of a game store, and he was left for his paint to just, like, dry up and get super washed out. He looks terrible. He looks like he's been sitting in a factory for 10 years. And above him is Jakks Gold Normal Classic Sonic. I get this one, and I understand if you personally like it, and I get what this figure is going for, but it doesn't get the execution down at all. This figure looks kind of terrible. Like, no matter what angle you put him in, the cell shading they're going for on this figure does not work at all. And next up is 4-inch Amy. Dear God, I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even own this figure. I really do want a modern Amy figure. I love Amy, but this figure is scary. And I hate her ginormous mouth in the middle of her face. I have no idea who at Jakks Pacific decided to do this, but they need to reprint this figure and just give her a normal smile or even an angry face or something. This face that they gave her is utterly terrifying. And above her is Ray the Flying Squirrel. This is the first figure on the list that I actually don't really have much of a problem with. He just lacks a lot of posability. He looks like he looks pretty perfect. He's just stuck in a constant "oh boy" pose. Like he just looks giddy at all times. But he looks pretty perfect. And next up is holy shit, Giant Pecky. Whoa! I love Giant Pecky. This is the best figure ever. Thank you, Jakks Pacific. I love Giant Pecky. I love Giant Pecky. I love Giant Pecky. This is my favorite figure ever. I love Giant Pecky. And above him is Espio. I really do love the Espio figure. I love Espio as a character, but sadly, like Amy, I think his mouth ruins the figure a lot of a lesser extent than Amy does. But he just looks a little derpy, but still a pretty good figure, though. Next up is Classic Knuckles. A common theme with all the classic figures is they have very limited posability. They could really benefit from some elbow joints, but I get why Jakks decided to skip out on them. For the 4-inch line, they're still very quality, and they're $10. So for a $10 figure, this is pretty perfect. You can't really get any better than this. And that same thing can be said, but more, in my opinion, for Mighty. It's so awesome that we actually even have a Mighty the Armadillo figure, and that he looks this good at that. And then he came out this early. Nobody talks about he was the first 4-inch classic figure. What the fuck is up with that? But, like, this figure looks very, very good. And above him is Classic Sonic. I mean, like, these figures all look pretty perfect. I also forgot to specify in the beginning of the video, I'm ranking, like, all the variants as one figure, because I'm not going to put, like, Tails with his, like, Wisp scanner as a separate figure, or, like, Wave 1 Sonic and Wave 2 Sonic separate. There are little minor differences, but they're not enough to change a figure's entire ranking for me. And speak of the devil, next up is Modern Tails. He's a pretty solid figure, but for some reason they always put his arms in these, like, fucking Egyptian dance pose. Like, what the fuck is this? It's literally the worst possible position they could put his arms in, and it ruins his whole figure in, like, every single release on him. They've never fixed this. And next up is the absolute hunk of a figure, that's Mecha Sonic. For such a lame character, they went insanely hard with this figure. He has some of the best posing from any Sonic figure ever, and is absolutely fantastic. But do you know what's cooler than normal Mecha Sonic? Shiny Mecha Sonic. Yeah, Jakks Gold Mecha Sonic is pretty cool. It's just normal Mecha Sonic, but better. Rouge the Bat is cooler, though. Next figure. Next up is Vector the Crocodile. This figure is pretty damn cool. He is a little derpy, but I think it's kind of hard to avoid with his design. I absolutely love the Chaotix, and I'm really happy that they all have figures, but, please reprint Charmy, please. Jakks Pacific, I don't want to pay $160 for Charmy B, please! Up next is Modern Knuckles. He's a pretty damn solid figure, but a little hard to pose, because Knuckles is always hard to pose, but still very, very solid figure. And next is Super Shadow, a very awesome figure. I've always been a little weirded out by his coloring. Yes, I know Super Shadow kind of just has this coloring, but he always seems just a bit too yellow for me. I think he needs to be a little bit lighter. He looks like someone pissed all over him, but aside from that, he's an awesome figure. Very overrated, though, because collectors don't shut the fuck up about him. And same thing can be said for Super Silver. I put him above him, though, because I think they got the coloring a bit better on him. I just think shiny coats of paints would fix most of these figures. I'm a sucker for shiny coats of paints on figures that are supposed to be shiny, like the super characters or the robot characters. I think that they should always do that, and I think it's kind of dumb that they make them exclusive to the gold lines or collector figures. We don't even know if they're going to have them in the collector figures yet. Just hopefully they do. And next up is the normal Shadow figure. He looks pretty perfect. Probably the best looking Shadow figure besides the collector's figure from Jakks. My one complaint is that I wish he had a grumpy face instead of his shit-eating smirk that he has, but still a pretty perfect figure. And above him is Classic Amy. This is like modern Amy, but like 20 times cuter. I absolutely love her. They absolutely cooked with this figure. I just wish she came with a hammer. That's my only complaint. Perfect figure. She's beautiful. And right above her is Classic Metal Sonic. He's also pretty much a perfect figure all around. He also has elbow joints, like Mecha Sonic, which makes his posability absolutely fantastic. And above him, I know I'm going to get some heat for this, but I'm putting Classic Tails. He's so damn good. It's very surprising since the 2.5-inch Classic Tails is absolute nightmare fuel, but the modern 4-inch Tails also has many flaws, and this figure is absolutely perfect in my opinion. Obviously, like the other characters, it could use some elbow joints like Metal Sonic has, but Tails is pretty perfect. This is a pretty perfect figure. And above Tails, we have 4-inch modern Supersonic. The paint and coloring are definitely better than Shadow and Silver Super forms, but this figure is just absolutely amazing. But Jakks will improve upon him in a later release. We'll talk about later, but until then, let's talk about Metal Sonic 3.0. What a weird fucking figure to make. He's just a simple repaint of Metal Sonic, but it's like definitely one of the best repaints that they could have done. But man, how fucking weird of a character choice. Metal Sonic 3.0 from like Sonic Rivals and only Sonic Rivals, like never appears in another game. What fucking Jakks Pacific employee was high enough to decide to put him in the lineup? There's so many characters that they could have repainted other characters' molds for. And out of all characters, they choose Metal Sonic 3.0. I think someone at Jakks just has some sort of like Metal Sonic kink or something. Because looking at this list, there's like 8 Metal Sonics and more coming. But he's a really good figure, so I can't complain. And next up is a complete polar opposite, Cream the Rabbit. What do I have to say about her? She's fucking Cream the Rabbit. It's not her first figure ever, but it's her first good-looking figure, and she's amazing looking at that. Her figure isn't superposable or anything, but it perfectly encaptures her character, and I know it's a disappointment that you can't pose Cream the Rabbit in your Goku fight scenes, but maybe one day we'll get Cream the Rabbit SH figure arts, and your dream will come true. And next up is the absolute unit of a figure that is Jet the Hawk. Because not only is he an amazing figure, but he comes with his extreme gear, which is one of the coolest accessories for a figure, like, ever. And it's so chunky, and it's bigger than the damn figure, which is, it's awesome. It's awesome. And after him, we have Fang the Stripper. He looks absolutely perfect, and he comes with his wanted poster from Sonic Generations, which is an absolutely amazing touch. None of the classic figures are very posable, even the collector figures because of their chunkiness, but they absolutely make up for it by just making these figures look absolutely flawless. Except Sonic for some reason. Holy fucking shit, I love Infinite! Sonic Forces, woo! I love Infinite! I love Sonic Forces! This figure is so good. He even comes with a Phantom Ruby. This figure is making me force all over the place. He looks so cool. He looks a little awkward though. I can't put my finger on it, but like he reminds me of Freddy Freaker. Like his arms are like stiff, like somebody like hit him with a Chevy Impala, and now he's like walking around with like a broken back. But I love Infinite, so I don't care. Going in Infinite tier, baby. And above him is Egg Robo, I guess. He's a better figure than Infinite, I guess. But Infinite's cooler. Don't get it twisted. Infinite's a cooler figure. Who's absolutely cooler than him though is Heavy Gunner. It's absolutely amazing that they gave us not only 1, but 2 hard-boiled heavies. And this figure is an absolute wonder to pose. And I hope we eventually end up getting all of the hard-boiled heavies. One weird complaint I have with the figure is that he's so lightweight and hollow, his cannon constantly makes his arm fall down. But you can work around it. This is still an amazing 10 out of 10 figure. And above them is Classic Eggman. This figure is absolutely amazing, and in case you haven't noticed, the past 3 figures have all had elbow articulation, and it insanely adds to the quality of the figure and posability. I understand why Jakks keeps the elbow joints off the skinny figures, but man, it insanely improves the quality of the figure. Whenever they buckle down and give it to them, which they have been doing a lot recently, specifically on their 5-inch specialty series figures, which is insanely awesome as those figures added size allow them to have like perfect posability without sacrificing build quality and falling apart in 3 weeks like Jazzwares figures. But anyways, tangent aside, above classic Eggman is modern Eggman. Both are amazing. I just simply prefer Eggman's modern design. And above Eggman is Silver. He's a very cool figure, and I think he looks pretty damn perfect, man. But I really wish Jakks would reprint him. I could be placebo placing him due to the fact that I don't have him. But nonetheless, through my computer screen and videos and stuff and seeing it through other people's collections, he looks very amazing. Fuck you, Jakks Pacific. Way cooler than him, though, is Blaze. It's so cool that we got another Blaze figure, and the fact she looks this good. I know there's a Jazzwares Blaze, but in my opinion, the Jakks Blaze looks miles better, and they include a Soul Emerald, which is insanely cool. Now, I may get made fun of for this placement being so low, as this figure is practically perfect, but from here on out, every figure barely has any flaw. And our first flawless figure is Big the Cat. This figure is so fucking good and has perfect articulation, and he's just absolutely amazing. And I'm so happy that we have a 10 out of 10 Big the Cat figure in 2025. This is amazing. And above him is Chaos from Sonic Adventure. It's so cool that this figure even got made, let alone how early in the line it did get made, and how good it looks at that. When this figure came out is when I knew Jakks was coming out swinging with the Sonic license, and they really haven't looked back since then. And above him is the absolute insane figure that is Heavy King. I absolutely loved Heavy Gunner, but Heavy King has one of the coolest and best molds I've ever seen on a figure ever, with an absolutely amazing articulation on him, and a giant fucking staff. This figure is an absolute 10 out of 10. Okay, are you guys hovering over the dislike button? Okay, I'm gonna give you a second, like, to put your finger, or, like, if you're watching on your TV, like, your remote, like, just hover over the dislike button. Okay. So above Heavy King, above the figure that I just glazed to no end, we have 4-inch modern Sonic. I know, we see him every day, and in Walmart, every wave, he comes out in every single wave, but he's truly the best Sonic figure of all time. He literally looks like if you just plucked his game model right out of Sonic Lost World, or Forces, or Frontiers, and boom, toy. Even with Collector Sonic, I still love this figure so much, I genuinely, I can't explain it. What's even better than him, though, is Soap Shoe Sonic, baby. It's insane that Jakks actually caved in and gave us a brand new Soap Shoe Sonic after decades. He's so awesome. And on top of that, in the Sonic Heroes 3-pack that we were talking about earlier, we got a shiny Super Sonic, which this might be a controversial opinion, but this simple shine they add on to the figure improves it tenfold and makes it stick out so much more and makes him feel like the Super Sonic figure. There is no Super Sonic figure I would ever choose to represent Super Sonic than this figure. He is absolutely perfect. Above him, though, is the absolute, undebatable 10 out of 10 figure that is Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic takes the 4-inch figure with skinny arms and skinny limbs, can't have elbow joints, propaganda we have been fed, and absolutely shatters it. He has some of the best posability I have ever seen in a figure of this size, and he looks absolutely flawless on top of that. And if you could think of one flaw with him, the one flaw would be his paint job. But Jakks has you covered. Because how do you take a 10 out of 10 and turn it to an 11? give it shiny paint. Jakks Gold Metal Sonic. He's so fucking cool. Everything I just said about normal Metal Sonic, take it and apply it to Jakks Gold Metal Sonic and make him even better. This is a perfect figure. If you haven't noticed yet, I'm kind of a sucker for very random references to weird things we normally don't get merch of. And one of the greatest examples of this is Metal Virus Sonic and Tangle the Lemur. I'm putting them together as one figure because I don't have these figures. But oh my god, I need them. And they are so cool. But because of insanely weird releases that these figures have gone through, I sadly don't think I will ever have them in my collection, as these were released in the Sega Ages line that is exclusive to Walmart. But every Walmart I have ever been to, and many around America, have only received Wave 1, which is barely selling at all, and shelves are filled with pegs of Eye and Axel Stone figures. And Metal Virus Sonic and Tangle the Lemur are introduced in Wave 2 and 3 of the line. And with Wave 4 and a Whisper figure allegedly in the works, it's very concerning how scarce these figures are in stores. Hopefully these figures one day get a rerun of some sorts in the normal 4-inch line, but the way these figures have been distributed are utterly ridiculous. Another tangent aside though, up next is Mephiles from Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. This was easily one of the most requested figures for Jakks to make for the longest time, and they finally caved and made him, and he's absolutely amazing. And on top of that, he comes with actual effects for him to stand on that insanely enhances the figure. He also has one of the best paint jobs and molds out of any of these figures yet. He's so cool. It's actually an understatement. Going on to the next figure, though, we are going into the top 3 best 4-inch Sonic figures of all time. And the title for the 3rd best Sonic figure of all time is Sonic the Werehog. This figure is just so cool and looks so much better than every other Werehog figure that's ever came out, ever. And actually, shout out this whole 3-pack of figures, man. Soap Shoe Sonic, Werehog, and Super Sonic. Like, it would be cool if they included, like, the shiny Super Sonic again, or gave him blue eyes or something for Frontiers. But nonetheless, this 3-pack is just absolute fan service in a box for $30 at Target. It's perfect. This is like Jakks Pacific just like sending a letter out to every Sonic freak to get off of their ass. Aside from that though, the 2nd best Sonic figure of all time is E102 Omega. This figure is just Jakks Pacific flexing what they can do with a Sonic figure. He's so fucking amazing. The posability, the mold, the paint job, the accuracy, it's absolutely perfect. It's no wonder this figure's price has absolutely skyrocketed over the past year, as this figure is absolutely perfect. It is every good thing about Sonic figures that we've had all wrapped into one figure. But the best and most perfect Sonic figure of all time is Neo Metal Sonic. This may be a hot take, but this figure is like if all of the Jakks Sonic team was just doing hardcore crack and had a sudden realization that they could literally make the coolest fucking figure of all time. He has absolutely perfect articulation and absolutely an amazing mold. Everything is perfect on him. The only complaint that I can give is his paint job can sometimes be a bit sloppy, I've seen. But for a figure of this caliber, for this cheap, this is the best $10 figure you can get anywhere. Like, If I was a child and I saw a $30 Marvel Legends figure and a $10 Neo Metal Sonic figure, I would never buy a Marvel Legends figure again. This figure puts every other toy company to shame. It is a absolute 10 out of 10 figure. And I don't think Jakks could ever top this figure. Well, unless they make a Zavok figure, that